and I'll take you through a couple of the key things that you probably want to be aware of. So, most important thing is stress is cumulative. So, fallout is calculated against your total stress, not against your stress within any particular area. But the type of fallout you suffer is based on the final amount of stress you just received. So, for instance, if you take, I don't know, say you had 3 stress and you took blood 3, and that took you to 6, I roll a d10. So the way it works for fallout is I roll against your total stress. And if I roll under your total stress, you suffer a fallout. And if I don't, you don't. So you just accumulate stress until you get unlucky and I roll the dice. The interesting thing is that's kind of the way the mechanics slow down your temptation to just do lots of dice rolling. Because obviously every time you roll dice, you run the risk of getting stress. The way combat works is it's completely player facing. So when you're fighting people, I know what their weapons are. I know what their resistance and their stress is. And in some cases, what their special abilities are. They only activate if you roll poorly. So when you roll an attack against an opponent, if you got, and I've got the, not that you can see it because the camera's not working, but I've got the core mechanic here, right? So if you say you roll between a 6 and a 7 as your best roll in a fight scene, you used fight plus, I don't know, high society because you're dueling with some Althea swank, and you rolled a 6, I would roll the damage from their weapon and that would be applied against you.
Right.
Because that's the stress that you would take. You would take the stress from their weapon. Or in the case of, being shamed in public, I might determine that that's actually going to impact your reputation rather than your blood. Because, they swiddle their sword around you and disarm you and shame you in front of all of the Althea, and you take reputation stress instead of blood stress. So you suffer a fall in public standing as a result. So they might not run you through, they might just embarrass the hell out of you. And the base mechanic is you roll as many d10s as you can, as you're allowed to, and your best dice roll is the dice roll that counts. The other minor point to note is I have a thing called difficulties, which reduces your dice pool. Now, if the difficulties take your dice pool below 0, you still roll a d10, but it reduces your total maximum success. So say you only had 1 dice. Sorry, not 0. Yeah, 0 minus the difficulty. That's right. So say you only had 1 dice. You would roll that dice. If it was difficulty 1, the best result you could get would be an 8 or a 9. You cannot get a 10 in that scenario. So your success would be reduced by 1 on the table. So if you rolled a 10, it would go down to being an 8 or a 9. If you roll an 8 or a 9, it goes down to a 7 and a 6. If you roll a 7 and a 6, it goes to 2 to 5 and so forth and so on. And that gets worse if you're duking it out with some uber combat monster who's got difficulty 2 and is the worst of the worst. By the way, just so you're all aware, there are difficulty 2 encounters in this module, just to make you feel better. What else is relevant? I think aid is a thing you can do. Oh, that's right. Yes. You can aid someone if you have the necessary domain or skill, but you share the stress. So if the best roll, so if you aid someone and they get a 6 or a 7, you take stress as well as they do. So you basically joined into the stress mechanic. That feels... Oh, the only other weird thing is bonds have their own stress. So if you're burning a bond, that impacts on that bond. It doesn't count against your stress directly. So say you've got Fizel, the forger, who you call upon to forge some documents to break into a place. and you roll the dice on the bond and you get a 6 or a 7, then the stress counts against your bond with Fazell. And Fazell might very well determine that they no longer love you enough to help you ever again and might shut their door in your face the next time you see them. And you have to invest time and energy in rebuilding those bonds. So you have to maintain relationships with people, and you can obviously build more bonds and new bonds and have lots of bonds going on, particularly if you're like a, what's it called, an icon or a firebrand, who are the sort of societal ones. And there's a couple of new ones in the expansions, like the Ink Master, I think they're called, who write newspapers and try and manipulate the world through news. Okay, I think that's mechanically it. Are there any questions about any of that? I'm going to go with. By the way, it's not work. So just to make that point. All right.
No,
Coolio.
no questions.
No questions from the audience.
I think so.
I needed to unmute myself. I'm just the bond with the other PC. I haven't done
Yeah.
that.
I likewise. I've got one.
So I think you've all I think every archetype or class gets a bond with another PC. So please identify who you would like to bond with. So just so you know, Ross is playing a revolutionary.
Yeah. I was thinking I might have a bond with Shah's character because I've helped somebody with a deck. So my carrion priest, Gabriel, has a hyena that devours the dead, which is the way that their bodies want to be treated if they're followers of Charnel. So somebody that you know and care for has died, and I've helped you to have their body treated the way they wanted it to be treated.
Instead of chucked in the pile.
So, instead of maybe sent down to the hanging gardens
to be used as
turned into mushrooms.
For mushrooms. Or sent to the mortuary priests who feed bodies to crows and other things.
Yeah.
So there's actually an active religious dispute between the carrion priests and the mortuary priests, because the carrion priests feed bodies to hyenas and the mortuary priests feed people to ravens and other things. And apparently, there's a theological disagreement between those two groups.
Sure is.
By the way, can I get everyone to put their character's name on their thing? Because there's no way I'm going to remember your name.
Yeah. No. Oh.
And also, if you're particularly aligned to the Alfea, don't forget to have a really long-winded, sunlight on the water at dawn kind of name, because that's, how you roll if you're particularly kind of highbrow. Not for you, the lower names.
All
right.
I'm not quite sure how to do this on my tablet, I have to say.
Are you using a tablet?
Today, we're doing an experiment, and I'm using the new laptop for Roll, and I'm doing the Zoom on my tablet.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure, because otherwise I have to go and use the computer in the kitchen, which is really dark. So
No, that's fine. I dial into Zoom all the time with my phone, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad.
I'm just unsure about the...
Oh, so you're not sure how to change your name?
Yeah, not on my tablet.
No, it's probably really awkward, actually. What's your name?
Let me look
Because
at
I can do it for you.
Okay. It is... Oh, God, that's right. It's not that.
Jason, you haven't changed your name.
Hang on, I'm typing.
Gabrian, so Gabrian.
All right. Gabrian, it is.
Yeah. And while we're all here, look at our new puppy.
Oh,
That's so cute.
His name is Toby, and he is super cute and super bitey.
Super body cute.
If he gets too crazy, I'll have to mute myself.
Okay.
To tell.
All right. So, Thomason, are you happy to have had like a near and dear relative? And would you like to indicate which near and dear relative it was that you had fed to the hyenas?
I think it was my mother.
Oh, there you go. All right. That's beautiful. So,
Okay.
Gabrielle, you've fed. Let's just be clear. Thomason's mother was fed to your hyena.
Yep, absolutely.
And then
Guaranteeing a transition to the afterlife.
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. As they are changed through the hyena.
Mm-hmm.
You may have been dead when it happened.
That's right. No, well, there's a whole thing about, sometimes you just have to help people understand that it's time for them to move on. Medox, what's your relationship, and do you already have it worked out? Your bond, sorry, and do you already have it sorted?
My bond is actually with Ross's character, the Firebrand.
Okay.
I actually messaged it to you yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think I saw it. It's doing 7.
So yes, yep. I have a secret about him and his family.
That's right. Oh no, yes, I remember now. Yeah. I did read this.
I thought it was a good way of elaborating things for him and providing some plot.
And he knows as well, right?
Correct. So the only choice you have to make is whether he knows that I know. And
Right.
I'm said yes because yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. So he knows and I know, and he knows that I know.
Okay.
We know together.
Beatrice, have you worked out
Yep.
have you got your bond sorted, and do you know who with?
Yeah, my bond is a whoops, that's the wrong page. My bond is with a person. What has happened there?
I don't know. You're
it's-
just not finishing.
Sorry,
the
no,
sentence.
I was just, my book was doing something weird. Yeah, so my bond is with a PC whose life I saved at one point when they were ostracized from their community.
Right.
I'm not really sure who that's with because I wasn't.
Well, that's what
I
we're
couldn't
trying to
remember
work
who
out. So
was
who you
playing.
wanted to
Yeah.
be with?
Okay. Yeah. How? Dave? What's your character?
My character was like basically a lick spittle for the Alfear.
Oh yeah. All right.
So I guess you might have done me a favor to protect my reputation.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. And then, Thomason, what's your bond?
I have a bond with another PC who I assisted during their durance.
Ooh.
So I'm like trying to work out what everybody's durance was that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we
I
dive
didn't
into that?
have endurance because I hid out in Derelictus for my
Oh, so you
Period.
So, all right, why don't we just dive into that then? I was kind of hoping to hold off a little bit longer for Ross, but I think it's now 8:20, so let's just crack on.
Yeah.
All right, so starting at the opposite end, because Dave, we didn't get to you. So do you just want to introduce your character, Nadir Fettel? What was your durance? And describe who and what you are.
I'm Nadir Fettel, male, probably middle-aged for a drow. Very well dressed in blue robes, gold jewelry, wears slave bracelets and has a labret and earring linked with a chain, and wears a golden torque. He was personal assistant to the Alfear last winter song. And now he's an Azurite, and it's essentially a merchant. I guess a fixer / fence, or not really fence, but more a fixer. He is very much above board, and he has a bodyguard named Mule, whose name isn't really Mule, and he hates being called Mule, but he gets called Mule anyway.
So you have ceased to work for the Alfear, though. You've forged your way out, and you become an Azurite priest, a worshipper of the silver coin.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Thomason, What's your background, Thomason? Oh, hey, Ross. Timing, perfect.
Hey, sorry for being late.
No, all good, man. Timing's perfect. Thomason.
I was also a personal assistant during my durance to an Elfia named Fiducia Festus, who was not particularly nice. She accidentally exposed one of her housemaids who was considered rather pretty to the light, causing permanent scarring and burns.
Right.
But my character is unmasked, so they're subversive and engage in quiet acts of rebellion. So I think they're part of the rebellion, but they're kind of moving in society, but also going unnoticed at times, kind of doing little acts of dissent.
All right. And do you still work? You still work for the Althea, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. You're a servant in good standing. Beatrice, what are you? Beatrice.
Yes, so I am a midwife. I'm a member of the Midwives Guild.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was called? Yep. Fairly reputable. But previously, I was a sage, and I worked in one of the universities. So I'm fairly knowledgeable. I have a good friend in the Midwives Guild who is aware of my other activities. My superior is not aware of my other activities, but what she doesn't know can't hurt her unless it needs to. So, yeah.
So you're actually a priest of the goddess in one of her three aspects.
Yes.
But not the one that's officially allowed.
No.
Because that's the
I'm blessed by the arachnid bloodline.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Protector of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Because the drow give birth through eggs. Just
Yep.
to make that point. But they're just like
Spiders.
other elves. Just
a little bit. Yeah.
You are cursed to be egg layers and spider folk.
Yes.
Okay, Medox.
I'm Medox. I'm a Verisian sage. My background was basically an occult researcher and investigator for some rich and wealthy clients out there. I've basically now commit myself to learning the secrets of the vault and researching whoever I need to research at the time for whatever advantage. That's pretty much me.
And as the Missian sage, you're taking advantage of the complete failure to deliver the attempt to build a magical transport system through the Spire that was so bad that it literally created temporal and spatial rifts.
Yep.
And broke.
Yep. So I'm figuring that it's kind of like going into like a Doctor Strange sort of multiverse in that vault. So yeah.
Well, explicitly,
so that's
anyone else who enters a vault with you takes stress damage.
Yeah, they have to make a test and do a stress. Yep, that's right. So yes.
Gabrian.
So my character's Gabrian, and they are a Carrion priest. Because they live up in New Haven, I'm just like covered from head to toe in robes and other coverings because it's right at the top of Spire. I did not serve a durance. There was no way that I was going to be doing that for the Elfia. So I spent the period of my durance hiding out in Derelictus. So I have a lot of contacts down in the low part of the city. and I have a hyena. And
Does the
together with
hyena
my
have a
hyena
name?
hyena- Oh, I didn't name my hyena. I'll have to think about that.
Toby.
Toby.
Toby the hyena. Here's Toby. Hold up, little Toby.
So
Just imagine bigger
Last
and maybe
minute,
kind of
Toby.
vaguely
Here's a
related to
little
cats.
Toby.
That's right. There's Toby. Yeah, that Toby's really selling hyena.
Yeah.
And Desmo.
Yes, so Desmo. I'm a Desmo is a firebrand. So bit of an opportunistic, more than ideological firebrand. His durance was that he was in the army, he was enlisted, and he was sent to, I think from memory reading the book, he was sent to the southern lands all wrapped up because he's a drow in cloth to fight. It's not the kobolds, is it ghouls or something?
It's gnolls. You're
Gnolls.
fighting gnolls in the south who summon
south.
demons.
So he's got a experience of that sort of fighting background, and then he's come back to Spire and just been treated like thrown on the scrap heap of the forgotten veterans, and he spends most of his time in the Undercity. Where is it? In the Undercity around Red Row and Derelictus as well, and making contacts, and mostly holding up a bar and talking a good fight.
Awesome. All right. So if anyone does not have their bond sorted out, you should now all know who you can have a bond with. So Thomason, do you have a vision for who your bond could be with now?
No.
So what do you need the bond to be about? You help someone during their durance.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it probably can't be Desmo because he was off fighting in the southern lands against demon kind. Gabrian didn't have a durance that you could have helped with, although you could have helped them dodge their durance.
Yes, that's what I was wondering. Perhaps that was the payment for me
that
helping you
makes
with your
sense.
mother.
Yeah, that does make sense.
That's my
Helping
name.
you with your
Just-
mother.
Maybe my name just like fell off the list.
Yeah. It's probably important for you to know, Desmo, that the way that Gabrian helped Thomason with their mother was they fed the dead mother to the hyena
Of course.
for religious disposal, for appropriate religious, internment. And then Nadir Fettel, I don't think we got your bond sorted out. Do you know
No.
what is your bond?
I helped one of the other PCs out of a debt.
Oh, that's right, because you're an Azurite. Who would have accumulated a debt that they couldn't cover, Thomason? You've got to keep up appearances.
Got to keep up appearances, and also probably slip the money back that I was apparently embezzling from my master.
Yes. Oh, I think that stacks, right? So
That stacks.
Nadir Fettel, are you okay to have a bond with Thomason?
Yeah, sure.
Because they're likely to have acquired certain debts that they could, that they couldn't go through normal channels to pay off. And then Desmo, what's your bond?
I think it might be with bear with me. Probably with Gabrian as well, if she's hanging down in the Undercity.
No, not in the Undercity. They're actually right at the top.
Oh, they're right at the top.
I do have a lot of business down in the low city, so I don't. But I do live up in the New Haven now.
Okay, so it needs to be so my bond needs to be someone that I've converted to the cause of revolution. So,
no,
probably-
I'm not a good candidate for that because I'm totally dedicated to my god.
Okay. So, any takers who wants to join me on a failed rebellion?
Anyone who hates
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting case. So I'll add that bond, and we can. You believe half the nonsense I tell you in the bar. So
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm actually just gonna share this for 1 second.
Oh, by the way, Desmo, I have a bond with you. I know one of your secrets.
Oh, okay.
Which you may not be aware of.
That's frightening.
No. Well, actually, they don't say that. They say that he knows that I know this secret.
That's
so I'm
right.
assuming he actually knows the secret himself.
Mm.
Unless you want to be a bastard to him, which is fine.
No, well, maybe, but not right now. All right, so
Okay.
Let's just quickly fly through the city layout. So Spire is a giant arcology. As you can see in the picture here, that big building picture on the side is actually the Spire. It is physically a giant kind of, Warhammer 40k necropolis, Judge Dredd kind of layout, one giant building to bind them all. Right at the top, as already identified by your Carrion Priest, is New Heaven. So right at the top here, and that's where bodies are interred to be fed to crows and other things, and also where the Carrion priests operate. So there's the morticians, who have the practice of putting people out to be fed to, various animals. And there's the Carrion priests who are expanding. There's also some pretty weird groups like the bee druids, who actually are nature druids who practice a particular type of religious observance involving bees. Then you go down, the Solar Basilica is like the center of the solar religion, which is, for the Alfear, the High Elves, and the College of Magic. There's Amaranth, which is actually the sort of, right at the top here. It's where the Alfear lives. So that's where, disappeared at the bottom. Thomason hangs in the Street of Masks in those areas. Then you've got the Silver Quarter, which is where most of the Azurites run. And is all about money. You've got the Ivory Row, which is kind of a bit religious-y. Then we've got the Middle City. So the Middle City is kind of this big bit sticking out here. It's got lots of, kind of activity. Then we come out to the algae farms, and you'll notice there's things sticking out the side of the building. These are not actually necessarily part of the building. They could be just waiting to fall off. No one knows. So you've got the leech canals with the hanging gardens, which we referred to earlier, which is where, drow who aren't appropriately interred or whose families can't afford to have them interred, their bodies are collected by the servants of the Alfear and then used to grow mushrooms in giant farms. We've got algae farms, which is awesome. We've got the wild zones. We've got the works, which is like kind of the industrial zone. We're still heading down. You'll notice we're now reaching towards the bottom. We've got Pilgrim's Walk, which is kind of where all of the gods hang. So all the little gods and all the weird temples and all of that sort of stuff are found down there. Then you've got St. Perdicia's Circle, which is sort of down below Pilgrim's Walk. And then finally, below the level of the city, you've got the Undercity itself, which we've mentioned earlier. And we've got the Heart, which is like crazy, weird magic, corrupting unreality spaces that no one goes to and comes out alive. I should have mentioned, by the way, in Ivory Row, which is about in the just above Middle City, but just above that mushroom-looking thing that's sticking out, is where the cathedral is, and where maybe the ministry actually has its secret base. It's like center of its base, because the old cathedral is the cathedral to the three aspects of the moon goddess, of which you're only allowed to worship one because the Alfear have outlawed the other two. And this is the perch. I was going to mention the perch. So these little dangly bits hanging from sort of the building here, they're literally like little habitations, packed sort of slum buildings that are suspended by ropes from the building itself and could fall off at any point. just to make you feel better.
Awesome.
Right. So that's the spire. That's what it looks like. All right. So let me go to the adventure. So the most important thing for you to understand is you are a cell of the ministry. The ministry serves the goddess of vengeance in her aspect. So the moon goddess in her aspect is the goddess of vengeance. Sorry, the goddess of secrets. Sorry, because the other mob are the goddess of vengeance. So the ministry ultimately is a religious organization. It's a cell organization, so you don't know who else is in the ministry. You just know that you're in the ministry. For all you know, you might be the only cell. But you have received a message. And that message basically contains the following information. Drow saints, also known as Hullows, reincarnate when they die. Most of them do it in the home nations. So there's a series of drow sort of city-states and actual nations off to one end of the continent, far away from where you are now. But the ministry has tracked down a reborn Hallow to the ramshackle streets of Pilgrim's Walk. So if you recall, that was just above sort of, the slums. She's built up something of a following by performing healing miracles and feeding the hungry. So she wanders the streets doing miracles that that heal the sick and feed the hungry. Your job, your mission is to bring her in to the ministry before the Church of Our Glorious Lady shows up and kidnaps her. So that's the sort of public aspect of the three-faced goddess of the moon, or the Crimson Vigil, who worship the vengeance aspect of the moon goddess, and basically just they don't care about anything other than killing Althea and destroying and sending, things into chaos. Sacrifice her to their goddess, basically causing a giant, outbreak of violence in Pilgrim's Walk. So you've been tasked with the job of going to Pilgrim's Walk and, convincing this Hallow, known as Brianna, Rose Blooming in the Void. So that's her official Hallow moniker. So that's what people call her. They call her Rose Blooming in the Void. So the way Spire works is we work via sort of scenes. So the first scene is you guys are in Pilgrim's Walk. So Pilgrim's Walk is it's like 1,000 religions, right? All thrown together in these little ramshackle kind of temples and weird cults wandering around. Like the streets are densely packed. There are buildings on buildings in this space. The streets themselves throng with literally hundreds of drow and humans. By the way, gnolls, just for your awareness, are officially illegal in Spire. And if someone sees one, they're meant to execute them by dint of the Althea laws. Sometimes there are Althea walking through the streets and everyone moves out of their way, obviously. The Paladins have their base in Pilgrim's Walk. So just so you know who the Paladins are. So the Paladins are the official militant arm of the Solar Church. They have the best weapons, the best armor, the best equipment. They're almost all Althea. They're terrifying. And they're violent as hell. They just kill people because they can. They're not lovely people at all. And they do it, of course, as a practice of religious observance. So, it's protecting the Solar Church and bringing everyone together. So you're surrounded by, all this color and light and there's, thronging herds. So you've all been brought together. What do you want to do, right? So you've got to find this Rose Blooming in the Void character.
Who knows anything about Pilgrim's Walk?
So anyone with a religious domain
Well, that would be me.
knows can know
Might know
about
something about it.
Pilgrim's Walk. The other one would be low society, because it's also pretty poor and ramshackle and poverty riven, right?
So perfect for the carnal priest, the charnel priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. That's both me. That's me all over.
Yeah.
So I think Beatrice and Gabrian are obvious candidates. I don't know, but is Desmo actually? Does Desmo have low domain?
Yeah, he's got
Low society. Sorry,
low society domain. He has that domain, yeah, as well. Yeah.
All right. So you know stuff.
Awesome.
What would you like to know?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's obviously is there kind of like, so it's all religious gods? Is there shot? Is it strikes me almost like a kind of fairy night market type place, you know?
Yeah, there's like all these people selling gewgaws and magical cures and the thumbnail of, Saint blah, 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 that if you, use it, and there's people selling religious icons to various gods and hallows and other things. Yeah, no, absolutely, right? Like it's a melange of people selling things, people preaching things, people just trying to like make their living in the corners, that sort of story.
So in that case, maybe we can rock up to one of the hallows sort of trinkets sellers, the relic, someone who sells relics, or, geez, this is where my Catholicism deserts me. So some sort of iconography of the hallows, and maybe sort of pump them for information in a friendly fashion about where we can find this living saint.
All right, so obviously there's lots of noise in this street, right? Like it's not a quiet place, it's a loud place, everyone's shouting and yelling. So this icon seller has like got icons in their hands, and they're kind of standing in front of them going, buy, the holy visage of, sunlight on the water at dawn, the drow radical who, fought against the Alfir, or just whispers that bit, obviously, because it might be considered somewhat, dangerous to shout that out. But famous for, buy sunlight on the water at dawn. By the way, I once had an elvish character literally called sunlight on the water at dawn, so expect that to appear a lot in this game. So you sort of stride up Desmo, I assume, and it's like a discerning person who clearly understands the value of sunlight on the water at dawn's blessings. Sir, which type of icon are you looking for? Looks behind him. He's got big ones, little ones, small ones, one's cased in gold.
I hear that there's I fought in the Southlands. I'm used to having the icons close to my skin to help me in those battles. They save my skin out there. But I hear the most powerful of all these relics is one tied to an actual living hallows.
Well, if you want a thumbnail, sir, I could possibly work one of those in.
That would be amazing. But even just to, and I'll definitely take one off. I'll definitely take a couple of thumbnails off your hands. But
off your hands. I get it. That's pretty funny.
But maybe you could also point me in the direction of this actual living hallows. So I could see their miracles in reality.
Oh, Lordy. To have a hallow in the Spire. I mean, I have been collecting, a few offcuts, as it were, a few castings as she's walked the streets. Because of course, that roses bloom where she walks.
Oh, and have you seen these roses bloom? Can you point me in the direction of them?
Carefully opens up his coat. Well, sir, as it so happens, I have a few right here. Points inside his coat. There are flowers. They're black.
Oh well, I'll maybe myself and my colleagues here can.
You're a bit suspicious that chrysanthemums and roses aren't the same type of flower, but you know, I mean.
Maybe we could purchase some for you from you, and if you could, we could buy a whole bunch if you point us in the direction of where you got them.
Well, of course, sir. Well, that'll be so the way so now what we do is we actually roll the mechanic, and if you take stress, what you're going to be taking is silver stress, which is actually how we represent spending money.
Okay.
So roll your I don't know what skill do we think this is? I know what domain it is. It's obviously low domain, low society.
Is it compel?
Compel or investigate? Compel or invest? Oh, no, it says persuade. Yep, no, compel. Yep. So have you got compel?
And I've got low society.
So that gives you 3d10. Because you get 1 dice for base, 1 dice for the skill, 1 dice for the domain.
Oh, I'll just roll that.
And what was your best result?
10.
10.
Which is good.
A critical success.
Oh, charming rogue that I am.
All right, so yeah, you can afford it. Oh, sir, actually, you're clearly a discerning person. I think I will just give you these flowers, but if you could speak of them, perhaps when you see people, you could tell them where you got these flowers.
Of course, it would be my honor to proclaim the living hallows here in where are we again? In
Pilgrim's Walk.
Pilgrim's Walk.
Pilgrim's Walk.
And draw followers to a cause, and also send them your direction so that they can spend their cash to purchase some proof of holiness.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. So, all right. Well, actually, you just need to kind of go in that direction, points in a direction. You will even possibly find, I hear rumors that some of her followers have started to set up little temples where she's walked. So, you'll know them. They all wear black, he says, while wearing black and grey clothing. But they all wear black. Robes in honor of her.
Sounds like Melbourne.
Exactly, it is Melbourne. It's Melbourne to a T. All right. So you move down the street through the thronging crowds. You come to a corner, and there on the corner is like this row effectively of roses that are just sprouting out of the ground, and they are black roses, so they're black rose bushes, and you can see surrounding the roses, sort of almost warding away the crowd, like, so people are crowding in, if nothing else, just by dint of there being so many people. But there's these drow wearing these long black robes and kind of rose motifs, sort of, with sticks jabbing people away from this location. It's like, don't, stay away from the roses. You're not worthy to touch them. This is hallowed ground, and sort of, pushing people away. There are these You can see already that, other people are like, that's not, that's some sort of false prophet. You can see, even now there's like the edge of violence to everything that's going on, right? Because there's people, that's a false prophet. Why would a hello, be here? And some of the people, maybe even Solar Church adherents, are of course disputing the very idea of hellos being a thing. So there's this big shouting match going on, but it's all based around this set of roses on the ground. What would you like to do?
Do they lead anywhere? Because it says
The flowers trail off and then fade away.
So we can't
And
follow
is
the
there a
royal
point
flowers.
where they're like all these like lots of roses concentrated?
Yes, there's lots of roses concentrated.
Okay.
But they do trail
And-
off in both directions, right? So,
So
Yeah.
this is where she stood and
yeah.
Perhaps
while.
performed a miracle here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
But is there any sign of her here, or is this just the remains of where she was?
There's no sign of her here. As you look around the group, you can see a number of these black-robed individuals gathered around this woman with a child, who's just cradled in her arms, and she's sobbing.
Right.
Oh, I'd like to go up and speak with her.
Okay. As a midwife, even.
As a midwife. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 All right. So you move through that. A couple of the adherents kind of come to block you, though. I was like, hey, who are you to, this woman has been blessed by the hallow.
Do I have some sort of like way to prove that I'm a
Yeah,
midwife?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
like
yeah.
some sort of
It's not-
symbology to
yeah.
show. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like a proper order.
It is like a proper order, yes.
Yeah.
With a particularly sacred duty inside
Yes.
Drowish society. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got occult powers, I'm
Yeah.
special. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I
flash your badge, as it were.
yeah, effectively. Yeah.
Okay. And what form does the badge take, may I ask? What is the symbol that you would use?
Well, based on what's written, I'd say it's a symbol of a web wrapped around a child.
Right. Nice.
Yep.
Okay, so a child encased in web.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Oh. And what's the formal name of your order? It's the Lahan, isn't it? Or that's what I think they're called.
I don't see the name here. It just says the Order of Midwives. So,
I think the class name is your order's name.
which is midwife.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, it's just midwife.
Oh, I'm thinking. No, the priests are the other ones. Oh, they're the silvered. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking
Yeah,
of
no,
the guy
I'm
with the
a-
dark moonstones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm like a weird web magic, culty
That's right.
kind of magic thing, not a god magic.
No,
I'm blessed by an ancient line of scholars
that's right.
with arachnid bloodlines.
Who
so,
take care of take care of unborn
Yep.
drow while they gestate in egg sets.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not at all weird.
No, very normal.
No.
All right.
What's
well,
weird
very
about
normal
that?
for drow. I mean, it's completely standard.
Yeah.
Although you are cursed, and that's why you lay eggs. Because if you were normal elves, you wouldn't lay eggs.
Obviously.
It's
yeah.
obviously the curse that you all fell under when you were driven out of the Althea lands and sent south to live in this giant tower. Of course. They you should check the child. They have been brought back. So there's this child breathing and the woman, the female drow, the woman is sobbing over this child. You can see the child's skin is run through with these black veins, like like when you get blue veins. But these are all black, like something has been used to kind of replace their blood, maybe.
Right.
And so they've got this black veining all over their face and their chest.
That is strange. Okay. Well, right. I want to speak to her about what happened first. So are you all right? What has happened with your child?
They were dead, and I begged the Hallow for a blessing, and she granted it. She has brought my child back from the dead with but a touch of her hand.
That is incredible.
Now, I just do want to remind you all have core abilities, and you should pay attention to them because they are very
I'm just
powerful.
looking at them right now. Yes.
So don't forget them. They're very powerful ways of digging stuff out.
Yes.
Yours is not necessarily directly relevant right now, but
no,
I'm just making the point.
No, I have healing magic. I can find out what someone wants to protect, and I can also I can also help someone avoid fallout. So
yes,
yeah.
Is the healing magic? Did you get that as your additional one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So
yeah, blood magic.
Yes, she touched her with her hands, and my child breathed. And you can see, the kid opens up their eyes, and all of their little veins in their eyes are now black. So they've got these dark eyes with these black veins running through them.
That's incredible. When did this happen?
It happened just an hour ago. I was here with the crowd, and she stood before me, looked down upon me, and blessed me with her hands. I felt the change in my child's body, like they were being renewed.
Okay. It's not a core ability, but could I use my occult kind of knowledge to
Sure.
see what's going on here?
Well,
yeah.
Are you saying it's not? Are you saying you think it's occult, not religious?
I'm saying I think there's a potential for it being occult and not religious.
Okay. Well,
I think we shouldn't rule things out.
What would you like to pair with occult? What skill? Or what domain? What domain?
Well, occult is the domain.
Oh, sorry. What skill?
Yeah, but what skill?
Yeah. Yes. I have fight and fix. I don't think
neither of those ring true.
Yeah.
So you'll just be using your occult domain.
Yeah, so that's 2d10.
That's 2d10.
Yeah. Let's see. An 8.
So that's a success with no stress.
Awesome.
Okay, so you run your fingers and sort of chitter over the top of this child, because you're sort of got some vaguely spidery features or effects. Kind of these. I imagine what's happening is you're sort of rolling the child around in your hands, not dissimilar to the way that a spider rolls, a fly in its web, to sort of get a sense of it, a feel for it. There is a sense of something being off about the child. There's something not right about the child.
Mm,
like
yeah.
like maybe, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, you definitely feel something other than
Yeah.
religious magic at play.
This is, I mean, it's a miracle what has happened here. Make sure to keep a close eye on them and keep them safe.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And she sort of, and they all go, no, you can't take the child away. We have to, put them in the temple and worship them. So the crowd of worshippers are now, it's like the kind of the sandal of
yes, Life of Brian.
Life of Brian, that's it, the sandal of Brian. It's like, no, they have been blessed by the Hallow, she'll hold them up on high. But she's like sort of grabbing the child back from the religious people who are the cult, who are like, no, we must take her, we must take the child with us and protect it because it's been blessed by the Hallow. It bears the mark of the Hallow, actually, is exactly the words they use. It bears the mark of the Hallow.
I believe the child needs rest and a familiar place.
All right, so is anyone wanting to try and persuade the crowd other than Beatrice that they shouldn't steal the child? Because now would be the right moment, I suspect.
I'm going to step in here with my hyena.
Right.
There's a little bit of a
Carrion Priest steps up.
Never end well.
Yes, I can use growl. Let me just double check what that does. That's good for intimidation. Okay.
That's not a hyena. This is a hyena. They said looking at the dog. Yeah. Sorry?
Okay, so my hyena and I are going to stand between Beatrice and the woman with the child and the crowd.
Right.
And my hyena is going to growl on command.
Yep.
To intimidate.
Okay, so that's definitely compel.
So it says when you intimidate or drive away someone, do so with mastery.
Yeah, so mastery gives you an extra dice.
Yeah.
So if you don't have compel as a skill,
I do not.
But you can use your domain, and I guess the domain religion will count. So you can roll 3 dice.
Okay. Seven.
Okay, so 7 is with stress.
Okay.
All right, so so you're standing between them. I think there's a bit of, sort of the there's a bit of toing and froing. There's sort of the crowd pushes against you. So you do take some blood stress.
Okay.
And you take 3 points. Now, if you have any blood resistance, you can deduct that.
Okay, so I've got blood 2 plus 2.
Yep.
Is that what we mean?
Yes, that's what we mean.
Okay, so I've got 1.
So you take a point of blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jess, don't you have armor as well as a carrion priest of 2?
I do.
I think that is the resistance, isn't it?
Oh, is that the?
Or have you got?
No, it's a different entry.
Yeah, armor is different to
armor's
blood.
different.
Yep.
So you can take 4 points. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna rule it's not actually combat, so I'm not going to allow the armor to be counted. It's like pushing and shoving and throwing. So it's just you just take a single point of blood, right? So, but basically, you push the crowd away, and she flees with the child.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So yes, you and the sort of hyena step in front of everyone. The hyena goes off, and they go ah! But some of them push back. You know, no, we must save the child. And then by the time they get past you and the hyena, the woman's disappeared with the child.
Yeah.
All right. So you're all standing around these flowers. In the distance, you suddenly all hear like flute playing. Like, you know, flutes being played and harps and cymbals and drums.
God,
I don't
here
like
come
that.
the
I think we
age
should
here.
leave. We should leave.
All right, is that what
Yeah.
you're doing? You're all fleeing away from the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like not running, but
Yeah.
like fast walking in the other
Fast
direction.
walking. Okay, so who has the best... like, do you move away and then watch, or do you just move right away?
I think it's
I
worth
want to
watching.
move away and watch.
Yeah, that's
All
what I
right,
was
so
thinking.
coming down the street, you can see a whole bunch of Alfea, like 10 of them. And they're kind of playing music, and, you know, they're the ones who are generating all the music. They're all dressed in completely different clothing. Like, there's no standard to the clothing they're wearing. They're all wearing masks. Some of them are very, very, very avant-garde and are wearing like half face masks, so you can see half their faces. One or two of them have got masks that are literally sewn onto their faces. So they've literally got masks threaded around their face to hold them in place at all times.
How do they eat?
Sorry?
How do they eat?
You don't know. There are gaps
Weird.
in
It's
the
a liquid
masks.
diet.
There are gaps.
Straws.
Yeah.
Nose tubes.
They might very well be intravenously feeding. Alfea are weird.
Sure. Yeah.
They don't.
Or they're getting it through the lower hole.
That's right. They don't actually have the full range of emotions that other races have. They explicitly don't feel the same way that other peoples do.
Yeah.
All right, so they're all dancing and waving. Unfortunately, I think Ross is frozen, which could mean that Ross is...
No,
Hear me?
no,
yeah,
no.
I can.
He was.
Your video's frozen.
I can hear him. I think everyone's
He's
video is
fine.
frozen for me. I think it might just be our internet is a little
Ross
bit
just
dodgy
dropped
right
out.
now.
It's on the internet.
No, I'm here.
There he is
Everyone
again.
seems-
Yeah.
everyone's okay for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
right.
sure it's just mine and Dad's internet. It's a little dodgy right now.
All right, so oh, there we are. So Desmo, you've seen Alfea dressed like this before. So this is a band of poet warriors. So the Alfea practice war in a way completely unlike any other race, even though they're surprisingly good at it. So these are poet warriors, and they are part of the Alfea hierarchy. There's often, they're skulls. The poet warrior is the leader. So they're skulls. They each, sort of do artistic expression and also wield weapons and kill people, sometimes wielding weapons of mass destruction and killing people while playing their flutes. So yeah, this is a group of poet warriors moving down the group.
Oh dear.
That's not good.
Does not sound good.
I think we need to keep the hell out of the way. And is there any indication? Can we get any can we get any indication of where they're heading?
Yeah, they're heading straight for the Black Roses.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're probably hunting down Brianna,
Yeah.
and not for nice reasons. Yeah. Yeah.
And you see the cult sort of warning them away, and then the elves just kill them. The Althea just stab them. They don't even hesitate. There's not even a warning. They just stab the cult members until the cult members run away.
Which direction are they running in?
Down the street away from the Poet Warriors. So in your general direction. Because you went down the street away from the Poet Warriors. No, but the elves don't chase them. The Althea don't chase. They literally stab them until they get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they harvest all of the roses.
Lovely.
And you can see one in particular is leading them. Does anyone... Oh, I know who does. The Mast and the Azurite.
Yes.
Hey, Mast. Do you want to make a... maybe an investigate with a high society roll? If you have investigate.
I have 2 for high society. I do not have investigate.
Oh, have you got mastery in high society? So have you got 2 dots in it? Did you get it twice?
No, I got it 1.
Okay.
I've got a dot in high society.
Yeah, so that gives you a dice for high society. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyone with high society is welcome to make a roll or to assist someone else in making a roll.
I'm happy to assist.
So that is 1 dice for me.
So 1 dice to start with, plus 1 dice for high society, plus 1 dice for Nadia's assistance.
Okay.
That's 3 dice. And tell me what your best.
I think I also have servant to the high ones. So when interacting with the Althea, roll with mastery on social checks.
Well, this is a social check, so go for it. So that gives you an extra
Another
dice. So that's 4 dice.
Okay, that's a 9.
That's a 9. Success with no stress. Okay. All right. So the group you're looking at are actually being led by someone you recognize. So the elf that you recognize, the Althea that you recognize, is Lilith, petals scattered in the night. So this is a Althea who recently rose to the position of warrior poet. So they used to be a skald. They used to just be a bog standard skald. Now they're a warrior poet. So they are effectively at the peak of military excellence for the Althea as an individual. So as an individual, they are fundamentally deadly. And they've done something really important to get that position. Now the thing is, no one knows what that is.
The Master of Limericks is truly terrifying.
That's right, but actually, it means she did something, or they did something particularly impressive. And normally, Althea are all about the advertising. So there's no such thing as a shy, retiring Althea, and there's no such thing as ego in amongst the Althea, because the assumption is everyone's egotistical. So
sounds like.
So there's a secret there that most Althea don't know.
Yep. Noting that down.
So she's so she quickly harvests all of the flowers. Because you made it with no stress, she doesn't notice you stopping and watching. And then she, you know, there's 7 or 8 dead cultists just on the ground. And then she, you know, kind of rings this little bell that's attached to her fingers, like a little dingle 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 with her fingers. And then all of the warrior pirates stop. Sorry, all of the skalds stop what they're doing, which was mostly dancing around and playing music and maybe, you know, touching drow to see which ones they wanted to torture. And then she goes, you know, jangles her fingers a bit, the bells ring, and then she kind of moves away back the way they came.
It's a lovely murderous procession.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought war dances were weird.
They're pretty clearly.
And now
based on
I
war
have
dances.
work to do. There's too many bodies here, though.
There's 7
for
bodies.
my hyena alone to manage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to go and alert the other priests, carrion priests, that will need to deal with these bodies properly.
Okay. All right. So,
Right.
what would you like to do, guys? Do you want to actually try and track down Rose blooming in the void? Like, you got a sense of where she might be now, what direction she was heading?
The cultists wanted to put the baby in the temple.
Yeah.
Perhaps one of them might know where that temple is.
Yep.
Yep.
And they were heading in
let's-
your direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get one of those surviving cultists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this cultist drow is running past you, let's say, because they're just running, right? Because, you know, turns out billy clubs and, you know, short knives are no match for Alfea wielding swords.
All right.
So-
well, as he comes past, I grab him. Yeah.
Yep. What is it? Stop.
Tell me
looks
where
at
you're.
you.
Tell me where you're going.
Oh, we're going to Rose blooming in the void. We're gonna warn her because, you know, these Alfea are coming. Points back down the road where the Alfea have now disappeared.
Okay. Whereabouts is that?
Well, she like the cult keeps tabs on her. So, you know, one of the children will tell us. That's the whole point.
Okay. We're coming with you.
Looks at you for a second. So, why? No. Because you want to see her.
We do indeed.
Oh, well,
With
of course, we don't want to keep a secret from those who will eventually become part of her following. Of course. And he kind of, or they grab you and sort of say, "Come with me. We will go and find her together, and perhaps she will bless you in the same way that she blessed that child."
Yes. Let's go and see her.
Oh, okay. So he kind of drags you all along because he's fervent, right? He's like full of this fervor. Okay, so it takes you a little while to sort of navigate your way through, and obviously this giant crowd of people. You can feel there's a kind of underpinning current of discussion about these Alfea, you know, disgracing the Hallow, right? Like touching the Hallows, you know, sacred stuff. These Alfea leave nothing for us drow, you know, they are like, you know, you can feel that undercurrent that there's all this conversation and words being said.
Does this happen a lot? They come and claim the Hallows that are actually left behind?
Well, this is the Hallows don't incarnate in the Spire. They incarnate in the homelands. This is the first Hallow to ever incarnate in the Spire, obviously sent by the goddesses to bring hope to the drow and to remind them of the importance of following the faith of the goddesses.
Indeed.
It's
I'm going to
very
assume
good.
he doesn't know. Yeah.
So he leads you down some paths. You get dragged through these crowds. You walk past all these little temples, and eventually you catch up. So there's this woman. She's clearly a drow. She's dressed, however, unlike almost any other drow on the street, she's not wearing lots of clothing. So the drow, even the drow who aren't exposed to the sun still heavily rug up because you never know, right? So you can see her pale flesh exposed in multiple locations. And you can see as
Pale flesh. Aren't we meant to be drow, the black skin?
Drow
No,
are not
we're all
black
white,
skin.
are we?
No,
Right.
you're any.
Never see the sun. Never see the sun.
Drow are many shades.
Okay.
This is not black elves bad, white elves good,
Yep.
or white elves bad, black elves good. It's
Yeah.
although the Alpha are mostly pretty.
We are
pale.
a spectrum of colours.
You are a spectrum. Yeah. The
But
Alpha
mine
are
is also-
explicitly pretty icy, so they tend to look blue.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yep.
No, but she's got pale skin. The palest you've ever seen. Like it's like it's like a ghostly shade of white. And then you can see shooting through that pale skin all of these black veins, which are much more pronounced on her than they were on the child because her skin is so pale that it's almost like the skin. It's almost like the skin is pale for the reason of showing how this black veining.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
So
That's
as she's
very
walking
odd.
down the street, you can literally see, first of all, as you approach her, wherever she stands, the shadows and the darkness are heavier and closing. So she's actually surrounded by darkness. Like she generates an aura of darkness about her.
All right.
And then where she stands,
go
there are roses growing out of the ground. And where she walks, you can see little roses kind of springing up through the stone and blooming. Because this isn't soil, right? She's walking on building material, basically.
Is she?
Yeah.
Can I see whether she's actually excreting anything onto the stone? Like, is it the blackness going through her veins that she's kind of excreting onto it?
Oh, so like, is it falling? Like, is blood falling?
Is it falling, or is she? Yeah.
There's something oozing out of her.
Yeah.
All
right.
Not that you can tell.
Okay. Here's the other thing is that so my occult is very good to the point that I have a knack, and the knack I actually took was the same ability that I had for Walter Mead, which was I'm an expert in demons, devils, and dark fae.
Okay.
I thought that would be a good little junction to Walter Mead.
Yep.
So I actually want to know if she's a demon or anything weird like that, or she has demonic powers as such.
Okay. I'll take that on board. Okay. So would you like to make an occult roll with mastery? Because I'm going to give you the knack, reasons that you may work out. And do you have investigate?
I do. I have investigators and occult as two things that I have.
All right. So you're going to get plus 3 dice. So you get 4 dice.
Yeah. So let me just do that. Occult and another 2 dice. Not brain. Where are you there? Okay. And here we go. Oh my God. Yeah. I got a 9 and 2 8s and a 2.
Okay, so the best roll is a 9, so that means you get a success with no stress. So it's not. So she is. So she's possessed.
Okay.
But it's not by a demon. So as a small side note, demons really bad in this world. Like demons kind of like really bad. because what they do is they cause what are called incursions, which literally rip reality apart. Generally bad.
Lovely.
However, you get a similar sense from her, like the real and the unreal are somehow mixed inside her.
Okay.
So there is something specifically not about her, and it doesn't feel like, you know, she doesn't feel like she's been possessed by an angel or an angel equivalent being. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. That's weird.
I have a core ability
Yep.
that is smell status.
Right.
And it says I know precisely who to talk to or who to take out to get things done.
Okay.
And once per session, I can ask the GM who's really in charge.
Okay.
So I'd like to know if the being possessing her is in charge or if she is.
Okay. All right. That's a reasonably innovative use of that ability. I'll pay it. I'll give you that. Okay, so you're observing her, and actually, let's go with this, right? So you're observing her. You've dealt with a lot of Althea. Althea just do weird shit. Like their whole concept, like, so they have they can't feel sadness. So they take a drug to make them feel sadness. And they have crying parties where everyone takes the drug so they can all be sad together. Because they don't have under any normal circumstances, they don't know what sadness is. You do not want to know how sadness the drug is made. You've dealt with Althea who do shit, like, so demonology is illegal and frowned upon and will get you executed. Of course, if you're rich and powerful, it's quite common to do, you know, it's not uncommon to experience demonology. So you're paying attention to her, looking for evidence of whether the drow is in charge or the spirit is in charge. What you realize is there's no evidence of a drow at all. Well, not at all. There's only one personality at play in this person, and it isn't drow.
Curious.
So in effect, if there ever was a drow in this body, it's been subsumed.
So they are not a reincarnated hollow saint. Because
well,
that would
they're
be...
hollow, not hallow.
Yeah.
Yes. They're a
Yes.
possessed shell.
Yeah. I mean, they're not a drow, a reincarnated drow, because that would come across as reincarnated drow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they are a vessel.
I have a core ability called Heart's Desire.
Yeah.
Once per situation, pick an NPC that you can observe for a while. The GM will tell you what they want most of all right now.
Okay, so you're going to observe Brianna.
Yeah.
Okay, so rose blooming in the void, also known as Brianna, most wants to heal the sick and feed the poor. You weren't expecting that as an answer.
Yeah. She might just be a very confused spirit.
Not evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wants to
So-
help. Maybe doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's probably what the ministry suspects.
Mm.
Is there a crowd of people around her?
Oh yeah. Like people, similar to the woman you saw earlier, right? Like people holding, injured limbs and begging for food, and her touching bowls, and the bowls becoming full of like black wafers, which look like rose petals. But people, you can see them eating them and feeling filled. It's like, you see a person with a twisted limb reach out begging for assistance, and she just places her hand, runs it up and down the arm for a second, and you actually see the person crying in both pain and joy as the limb untwists, and suddenly they can move their fingers again. But at the same time, you see that black veining that you saw before kind of fill their arm. And as they see it, they weep even more that they have now got the blessing of the Hallow in their body.
It ain't natural.
Look, I'm gonna put it out there. I know what blood magic is. I've done a fair bit of blood magic in my time.
Everybody does a bit of blood magic.
Everybody's done a bit of blood magic. I personally don't think this is anything but a little bit of fancy blood magic. Very fancy blood magic, but I think that's what's happening.
It doesn't seem to be hurting anyone.
Not that you can tell.
No, but there's no evidence.
Not in the immediate, I think. Yeah.
Everybody's got a Cronenberg any moment.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Interesting. But we at least know what motivates her as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So perhaps that's how we can
Interesting.
acquire her.
Is to, yeah.
I've got an idea. I've got an ability. I'll just pass this by everybody first. I've got an ability called Draw a Crowd, which is as the firebrand, I can once per session draw a crowd. There's already a crowd there, but to listen to me, if it isn't a life, as long as it isn't life or death, they'll stop and listen to what I'm saying. So maybe I can sort of, jump on a soapbox and cajole the crowd to witness the miracle of Brianna and how we needed to direct it against the forces that control us in the Spire, and she needs to maybe join with us in confronting. This is a risky move, so I'm just wondering if people think
we are a secret society.
We are a secret society.
Yeah. Just I throw that out there.
Yes, I do. We want to draw the rather violent singers.
Yeah, we don't want to make her a target any more than she already is.
Yeah, we actually more want to smuggle her quietly somewhere.
Yeah. So maybe we need to use you to draw the crowd away from her.
Great,
which would actually be very hard though. Because,
yeah.
All right, so maybe if I draw the crowd and then you get the Hessian sack and put it over her head and
this woman ever get to sleep?
Yeah. Does she need to sleep? Is she
her
alive,
day and
really?
night?
Like, what sort of life is she living right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's quite content, it seems. She's fulfilling her desire of healing people. Whatever healing the sick means in her mind. So she's content.
Can we tell her where there's a lot of sick people? Can we sort of get her to come to cajole her to find out where to follow us to where the poorest and sickest people are that she can help?
Well, maybe we can kind of do a bit of a, a bunch of your followers were just killed over here. Please come help.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
They're really sick. They're dead.
Yeah.
Well, that hasn't stopped her before.
No.
There is
Yeah.
a baby that came back to life. So, yeah. Yep. We could do that. Convince
that
her to
better.
try and heal her followers.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what do you want to do, guys?
Uh,
Who's going to take the lead on, please, you have to come and help us.
I do have a lot of compel.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
And a little bit of deceive.
Yeah.
Like a good combination.
It does. Yeah.
yeah. You're a trustworthy fellow.
Idea. You got
Yes.
this. Yeah.
Let the hustler hustle.
Yeah.
I think I'll lean more into the compel than the deceive, because we do have a large number of her followers who have suffered unduly. But maybe if I could, if someone has a religion domain, would like to help me out.
Oh, that'll be
Oh,
the
yeah.
Yeah.
I can add in my religious knowledge
Mhm.
to give you an extra dice.
So yeah, I've got the knack for persuasion. So that should be, I think, 4 dice all up. Is that correct?
If the knack is applicable.
Yes, persuasion.
Oh,
As
okay.
opposed to
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry,
compelling
I get it.
by as
Yep,
opposed
yep.
to compelling by intimidation.
Yep. No, got it. Okay. Okay. So that will give you a total of 5 dice, I think, because you're getting a bonus from. Oh, hold on. No, you didn't have the domain. So it's 4. So you've got the knack. You've got the domain from the assistance of Jess's character. You've got 1. Yep. So it's 4 dice, please.
It's a 7.
Success with success at cost takes stress. Okay. All right. So you step up to persuade her to come with you. When you talk about the injured parties or injured followers and beg her for, her assistance. And social. Okay, yeah, that'll do. Yep. So she looks at you for a second, Azurite, worshipper of the silvered god. And she goes, for you, everything is about, she sort of calls you out in the middle of this crowd. I can see your heart, Azurite, and I know it is shallow and not filled with the best intent for our people. I will do this thing, but know that you are marked as one who would sell his people for a silver coin, and know that it will be remembered for all time.
It's fair.
And you too, Carrion One, worshipper of a false god, not one who worships the true goddess in her forms. You both take 2 points of social stress.
That reputation.
Yes.
And I subtract
Your resistance.
resistance. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So I've got
That-
3 reputation.
and I have 2.
How do you guys have so much reputation? Oh, because you're a goddamn
We know people.
priests and people.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're people of standing.
Let me just. Best marking additional resistance slots. Oh, have additional resistance slots against certain resistant types. Stress marked in these additional resistance slots doesn't count towards the character's total stress. Right. Okay. So it's absorbing the stress. It's not blocking it. Right. Okay. That's good to know. So you're exhausting it when it's used.
Okay.
So it's free, but it's free and you burn it. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know how we're going to handle that. I think we'll just keep it the same way we already have. Just mark the actual stress you took in your stress box. So you both took 2, so just put 2, and you've got your resistance above, which says, in your case, Gabrian, you've got 3 resistance, and Nadir, you've got 2.
Let's assume that you pass those tests and everything.
So it just means that I don't get to roll against you. Okay. So yes, and then she strides back towards the crowd, back the way she was coming.
Got a follow up.
Interesting.
So you move through so you follow her as she walks back.
And we need to kind of have an idea of at least where she's going.
Well, she's going back to where you said.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so we are following her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you're all following her. But so is a whole crowd of other people, by the way.
Yeah, that's less convenient.
It's
It's a little more convenient if the Alfea return and decide to start slaughtering people.
I was about to say ablative meat shields.
Ross, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, is this the point where I can pull the crowd away or distract the crowd once we get to the bodies?
Let's see her do her business with them, with the bodies, because some of them are going to be actually dead, and then we'll
I'm
do
pretty
that.
sure all of them are dead. I'm pretty sure that they didn't leave living bodies behind.
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel
so
very
she
conflicted about this.
Yeah,
she
I don't
walks-
really want her to do her thing. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's good to let her keep on doing her thing.
Well,
So you guys
yeah,
get
I mean, like,
back
as far
to
as
the
I'm concerned, those bodies, those bodies now belong to Chanel, so they need to get eaten by hyenas.
not resurrected, goddammit.
No.
It's unnatural. They need to be turned into hyena poo.
But it's so interesting.
It's better. It's just better. Look, we all know hyenas are weird, so let's go with that. So she strides through the streets. She goes back. She's heading back towards the location. When she gets there, there are a couple of bodies on the ground. A number of them have been removed, possibly to be sold to the Hanging Garden for money. There's a small crowd of people. Can I get a sense of... So you've all been paying attention to the occult side of things. So when she gets back to where she was, which is where the roses were plucked, by the Alfea, there's a sense that something so the bodies themselves are already kind of being subsumed. There's like this, so against the wall where the rows, sort of where the growth was. So there's all these buildings. There's a doorway into a small temple. You can see that the black kind of growth, the blackness on the ground, which looks like grass but clearly isn't, has kind of spread up the stairwell to this doorway. The doorway itself is fractured and cracked. So the lintel, if you will, of the doorway is fractured and cracked. It's made of stone that feels old when you look at it. And you can see that within the doorway now, where there would have been a wooden door of some description, there's now this kind of inky kind of blackness, almost like another space is behind it that has no light. And this is all sort of there. Happy for you guys to tell me what you'd like to do. And she's arrived. She pays no heed to the door at all.
Yeah, so that's just so normal and regular. Yeah. Don't we, isn't someone here a kind of weird spaces between kind of dude?
What? You mean someone who's also got some academia and other stuff under his belt?
Yeah. I have academia too. I'm
Yeah.
a scholar. Yeah, we can. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's poke it with a stick.
All right. So
Scientific exploration.
it's sometimes it's the best way. I reckon we should just poke that baby with a stick and see what happens. You know, I respect everything about that statement. So can I get a
Investigate at academia?
Why not? Sure, if that's what you're throwing at it. I
why
And
not?
I can help out with my kind of academic knowledge.
Sure. So
That's
you're up at
okay.
the door checking it out as well, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
4 dice. Excellent.
Yep. Now this is a difficulty 2 thing.
Okay.
So knock 2
So-
dice off.
Knock 2 dice off. Okay. Whoops.
So
Yeah.
it takes it from 4 to 2.
Oh, well, that sucked.
Oh.
What did you roll?
A 1 and a 2.
Oh, geez.
Perfect. Critical failure. No. Failure.
The stick goes all the way in.
The stick goes all the way in. Actually, that's not the problem, Rob. It's not
Yeah.
the problem. Stick's fine. Stick goes in.
Yeah.
All right. So you're both standing in front of this fractured gateway. You can see she's desperately laying her hands on the dead bodies,
Yeah.
concentrating on them. The rest of you are sort of focused on that because you wanted to see what would happen with the bodies when she did her stuff. So the only 2 people currently focused on the door are Beatrice and Maddox.
Yeah.
You see her sort of pumping this blackness into the bodies. And Beatrice and Maddox, you see these hands, these cold white hands reach out of the shadow gate that's there. And you see these cold white faces that look like
Wow.
the body, like the spirits of the dead drow on the ground. So they're actually the faces and the arms of the drow on the ground, kind of pulling their way with the stick that you've helpfully shoved into the gate, out and twisting their arms around your hands and enclosing them. You guys are transfixed by this experience, unable to move. Oh, it's a single.
I've killed you again, Beatrice.
Yeah.
You both take 4 points of stress to
It's not
mind.
meant to be.
Okay,
Whoa.
cool.
Luckily,
I've got
pretty.
3 mind already.
Oh,
Yeah.
So do I. Wait, all
Okay,
3 mind
woo!
stress? Yeah, I've got 3 mind. I've got 3 mind.
Yeah, so
We're good with that.
So you both only
Still
take
not
1
great.
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag sad face. All right.
Oh, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
So these forms are you guys are so resistant. These forms are grabbing your hands and fists and bodies and sort of trying to drag you into the gate.
Oh, can we try and drag one of them out?
You sure can.
no,
that sounds like fun.
let's not. Let's not.
No,
It's
we're
not
doing
really
it.
natural.
It's for science. Let's do it.
Science.
That's an occult roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Let's do it.
actually, hold on. Is it occult or religion? Ooh. No, it's occult. It's occult.
Hell
It's
yeah.
occult and wow.
Compel?
Well, it depends. Are you trying to use your occult abilities to sort of drag them out, or are you actually trying to grab the hands of these cold forms and pull on them?
Well, I mean, they're grabbing our hands. Why don't
That's
we grab
true.
theirs back? Yeah.
Yeah, we're just pulling back.
Yeah.
Right, but letting them hold on. Or even, sort of doing that.
Helping them. We're grabbing them back.
Wrist to wrist grasp, where you
Yeah.
clench your hands around each
We're
other's wrists and
monkey
pull.
gripping this.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Yeah.
that feels very much like I think a fight roll is appropriate, yes.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. Well, I've got fight and occult. So.
All right.
Okay.
I'll just aid you on the occult side.
All right, so
Yep.
it's
You
still
roll.
difficulty 2. They're this is dangerous
Cool,
stuff you're
so
playing with right now.
Once again, 2 dice.
Yeah.
Let's do this. 6.
6. Success with stress.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's not
that's gonna hurt. Okay, 6 mind, and you've already used.
Wow.
And don't forget, you've already used.
Yeah, it's already used up. So that's an additional 6.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So how much? So
We're on 7.
Oh, good. I'll roll a d10 then. If I can remember how I do that. I'm having one of those moments. Oh, that's right, because they moved it over here. D10. Just give me a roll. Oh, yeah, that's under. That's under. All right. Let's see.
Let's go down to Fallout.
So Fallout. Severe Fallout. No, hold on. Bond Fallout. No. What the fuck? No, I don't want Bond Fallout. I just want Fallout. Removing stress. Yes. Good news is you lose 5. I think you'll lose some stress when this happens. Good way to end it.
Well, if it's any consolation, my refreshers uncover hidden information.
Nice. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
I'm keen.
Well, once per session, when an ally takes fallout, I can appear nearby as long as it's slightly feasible for me to do so, and they ignore the effects of the fallout, and instead I take a d6 of stress to an appropriate resistance. So
Good to have you here.
unfortunately, I'm also getting fallout, so I can stop you from getting it, and I'll just have even more.
So let's see. Actually, hold on. I'm struggling with my printout, so I'll just literally just go to the right page and read the rules. All right, so removing stress, no. Difficulty, no. Keeping track, additional resistance, not fallout. Each time a player character takes stress, the GM checks for fallout. I roll a d10, compare it to the current total stress marked against the character's resistances. Oh, that's right. It wasn't just against that. So if it's 5 to 8 stress, it's moderate fallout. We're in moderate fallout territory.
Yep.
You don't have more than 8 stress in total, do you?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, good. Just checking, you know.
Yeah.
So the options are freak out or memory holes or permanently weird. No. Or phobias. So tempting. These are actually your choices.
Oh,
So
I
what are the
player
options?
facing. You get freak out, you lose it, and attempt to kill or at least drive whatever caused your mental break. You won't calm down until you're restrained, it's destroyed, or you flees the scene, or you're knocked unconscious. Memory holes. You did things you can't quite recall. The GM and every player aside from you work together to determine what you did that you blocked out from your mind while you step outside of the room or during downtime. They're generally pretty awful things and can have happened up to a year ago in game time or immediately upon suffering fallout. Your character has zero memory of the events, but everyone else knows what happened. Nice one. Permanently weird, but it lasts until you get proper treatment. So just so we know what weird was, which assumably is not permanent. So it'll be, I'm struggling. Yep, weird. You do something unsettling that bothers normal people. Obsessive behavior, singing yourself, fulfilling a strange compulsion at inappropriate times. At the earliest opportunity, a GM can declare that your weirdness puts a useful NPC off, and probably your allies too. Once this happens, remove the fallout. The difference is with moderate, it isn't a once only. You can suppress the effect of this fallout for a scene by marking D3 stress against mind. Ooh, cool. Phobia. You acquire phobia of something related to the stress you suffered. A person, an item, a place, a situation, or something even more abstracted. You can avoid the subject of the phobia whenever possible, and if you have to interact with it, difficulties are increased by 1. So, freak out, memory holes, permanently weird, or phobia. Your choice, people. I wouldn't want to hold you back.
God.
I think Beatrice is gonna get a phobia for darkness.
Okay. Phobia for darkness it is.
I was actually just going to go phobia for death.
And anything
So
to do
dead
with it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're acquiring a phobia for dead things.
Yeah. I don't want to touch dead things.
Well, you
And being around them probably makes me uncomfortable now.
Nice. And what about you, Beatrice?
Yeah, I went darkness.
You've got a phobia of darkness.
Yep, which will be super useful and cool as a drow. But you know. That void. It's freaking me out.
It looked back.
Yeah. I did not like it.
Okay. So you but you succeed. So you pull
Pull him
out.
We pull out a dead
And this
dead
spirit
ghost.
is pulled out from the gate. Now, can I
You've
get
rebirthed it.
you feel the spirit, which has now been pulled out, sort of take a forward step, and then it steps into its own body. And you see the body of this dead person, which has got these, broken ribs, and it's been run through with a sword, and then just kind of the sword's been ripped up through the body, spreading its chest open, and you see the spirit sort of fold its way into the body, which you pulled out through this gate, and you see the heart begin to beat and the lungs begin to move, but you can also see this blackness filling the cavity completely. Like its body doesn't actually heal, the skin doesn't close up, the body is still riven in twain with this sword blow, but now there's this like shadow filling in that whole space.
Black-
So you've got this kind of
Black
open
spack
chest.
filler, hey?
Yeah, just like black spack filler. That's nice. I like it. And it's like
Yeah.
it's there, and you can, and it looks at you, and Brianna, you know, is filling it with her power, and you see the blackness closing, you know, hardening and strengthening. When she does that, can I get who's got the best combination of religion and it's going to be religion, definitely religion. So the domain is religion, and if you've got actually it's going to be investigate. Yeah, it's going to be investigate. If you've got investigate and religion, tell me. Or if you don't and you've just got religion, tell me. Or yeah.
I've just got religion.
Okay. You're the only priest amongst the group, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So you have this is what you know immediately. So in the Spire, particularly in the heart, there are sometimes these gateways that open up to what's known as the Moon Garden. And the Moon Garden's like the land of the dead for the drow. I'm not sure if you actually believe in it because you believe in a different god, but the drow who practice the faith of the moon goddess believe that their spirits are taken to the Moon Garden for rest. Now, the way the Moon Garden presents, and there are rumors that float around that in the heart, if one seeks long enough and hard enough, you can find a gateway to the Moon Garden. And the gateway is described as a sort of stone arch where the sort of on the other side, the light of the moon can be seen. The archway is adorned with the symbols and the representations of the three aspects of the goddess around it. And this kind of looks like that, but it's off.
Yeah.
And it's off in the ways that I sort of described earlier. So there's an inky blackness in the gate. The gateway, the archway is this is kind of broken and fractured stone. It's like the wrong door to the Moon Garden.
Okay.
Okay. It certainly felt wrong.
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Okay. So as you, because we're going to pause there, but I'll just read out this scene because it's the last thing that happens. Suddenly, you're all, you all see this scene in exactly the same way. So you're standing, you know, on a street that seems to go forever. The street continues until it fades and narrows down to a pinpoint. So it's like you can see the street just stretching off forever and narrowing as it does so. Next, just within your eye's vision, just in the corner of your eyesight, you can see an Althea, a skald or warrior poet, an Althea warrior of some description. You're looking at her from the side and the back, but she looks familiar to you. In front of you, you can see Brianna looking at an exact, well, not exact actually, a copy of herself. So two two people staring at each other with a foot between them. One of them, this sort of kind of drow wearing what looks like the equipment of the enlisted. So a member of an enlisted drow. On the other side is almost exactly the same, but not quite right. So more like a sketch, like a three-dimensional sketch of Brianna would be the best way to describe it. So almost a perfect drawing of Brianna, but somehow oddly not quite dimensionally right. It's like looking at a sort of, someone's attempted to draw a three-dimensional image of this person. You can see Brianna hesitating and looking sort of surprised by this form in front of her. And then out of your voice, out of your mouths, you scream, "Ariadne, beware!" And just as you say that, you see the other form, the sketch form, lift its arm in the air, and you see it take the form of a black blade, which she jams into the chest of Brianna, soaring through her body. And then you see more and more of these black arms kind of reaching out and stabbing and punching her. At the same time, you suddenly realize that there's another form or another couple of these drawing-like forms racing down the street towards you. One of them is clearly in the form of some Althea. And now that you can see the face, it's clearly the warrior poet, Lilith Petals Scattered in the Night, running down towards. And then there's another form running directly at you. It's another drow, female in form, dressed in the equipment of an enlisted. And you see it doing something sort of similar, like it's trying to do the lashing out with the blades thing. But just as it's leaping, you see the Althea put their hand out and scream something in a language that you don't understand, holding some sort of charm or item in their hand. And that form, and indeed the form that is stabbing Brianna, both shatter into 1,000 black pieces that fall towards you. And that's the last thing you recall as something strikes you in the side of the head and you fall to the ground. And that is the end of the session. Now, important point, you did not recognize the face that was racing towards you from where you were looking.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I had the exact same dream last night.
That's not healthy, buddy. That's not healthy.
It's going to need some research.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I honestly did not expect you to try and drag the ghost form out of the game. Extra points.
Neither did I.
Extra points. Extra points.
Oh, it's funny. Actually, it's
Oh,
quite
by the way, you
appropriate.
both lost
Jason-
5. You both lost 5 stress.
Okay, cool.
So your mind stress
Yeah.
goes down by 5 because you had the
Cool.
fallout. All right.
I'd like to say that Jason had foreseen this because Jason's background is hands reaching towards her. Yeah.
Nice.
Then-
Nice. Nice. That's a good point. Oh, man. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Thanks.
All right.
Told.
So, see you in a fortnight for part 2. I don't know at this rate if we'll finish it in 2 sessions. We just might have to go to a third. We'll
Oh
see.
no.
It depends.
So
Depends on what you do
sad.
next. You might decide to move quickly and deal with Brianna in a very particular way.
Love the setting. Such an amazing setting.
I like what I appreciate about it is it's truly different.
Yeah.
Like, and the guys who designed the game actually went to town on it, right? Like, they actually went, what if we had, you can imagine the conversation about the carrion god, for instance. It's like, well, they would have started with something like, the Persian Zoroastrians feed dead bodies to vultures as part of their religious practice. And it's like, well, what would be wrong? What would be the wrong version of that? I know, hyenas. What if there were two cults and they didn't like each other because they thought each other were heretics for feeding people's bodies to the wrong animal? Because that's actually what's going on the roof. There are two death cults and they hate each other because you feed the dead to the wrong animal.
As good a reason as any.
Yeah.
I should also point
There's
out the
nobody
mortuary
who
priests
hates
also
this, right?
practice rites of undying, which means that they can actually make you undead.
Dead. Yeah. We must always remember there's nobody you hate more than the person who shares 95% of your views.
That's right, bastards.
Because they're
Fence
wrong
sitters.
on the other 5%. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Goddamn
right.
fence sitters.
It's a minor thing, but
But good to call it out. Good to keep an eye on it.
Thanks so
excellent.
much, guys. Appreciate it as always. And I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Yep. See you
All
then.
right.
Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh,